Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to our first community event. We're really excited to be here. And what we're going to talk about today is, I'm sure you're all wondering, what is School of Humankind? So when John and Roger and I were dreaming this up, we really thought about the beauty of connection and the power of learning and how everything we needed to succeed in life wasn't taught in school. So what we wanted to do was bring together people of all different kinds. The more mixed, the better, because we all have different opinions, and especially we all have different experiences. And it's those experiences we really want to exchange with each other, because life is so rich. And sometimes we are stuck, for instance, in a certain geography that we don't get to experience something else, or we're stuck in a certain life situation that we can't change. So why not learn from someone else who's totally different, to give you a totally different view on the world? So that is what School of Humankind is all about, and what we endeavor to do. In short, bring together a bunch of amazing people, and everyone is amazing, um, to just have great conversations. And that's what we wanted to be different as well. We're going to talk a little bit about the structure later, but a lot of sites bring together people who do courses, but they don't actually talk to each other in terms of the course givers. So we want to have a bunch of rich communication between everyone, and that includes the viewer. So I guess, John, we will go through, we picked 3 words to be on our LinkedIn banner, and any banner. And they are expansion, connection, and belonging. So, John, why don't you tell us about expansion?
Okay, so expansion, there's a word. See, it seems to me when we were doing the early thinking of this, it seemed to me that we live in a world of narrowing, greater specialism in the terms of universities and learning, echo chambers in terms of the communities that people live in, out in the political world, increasing, demands for borders and walls and things that divide us. But real learning isn't about narrowing down, although, that's useful. Deep level technical learning is useful, but real learning is about expanding out. It's about finding out about new things. It's about discovering what you've never even imagined. For me, there is always a sense that learning goes in 2 directions. You dig down deeper into a specialism, and that's about a certain level of narrowing. But you also reach out, you broaden, you connect what you know with what other people know. You expand beyond your specialism to connect with other specialisms and find what the commonalities and what the differences are. You expand to other communities. You expand across generational divides, religious divides, political divides, geographical divides, always reaching out to connect. And that for me is the heart of the word expansion, reaching out beyond any perceived barrier to see what happens when you connect with something beyond what you already know and who you already are. And the second word we come to play with is that word connection. I'm going to throw it to you, Angela.
All right. How can you tell John is into drama?
I have no idea
I
why you
don't
would say
know.
that.
Expansion. Yes. So connection, I already kind of alluded to it prior, but we wanted to really enable a connection point, a meeting point for people of all, any kind of thing you can categorize people with. We're so many different categories in different facets of our lives. But if you take the broad strokes, there's gender, there's cultural, there's ethnicity, age, experiences. So all of those different ways that we try to narrow ourselves, we want to meet in in a place. And the School of Humankind endeavors to be that place of connection where we can come, and it's almost like sitting and grabbing your favorite drink, sitting at a table and having that deep talk with someone who is really listening. So not only are we, connection is about talking, but it's also about listening. And that is what we really want to create with School of Humankind. And when you walk into this room, we want you to feel welcome. So that's the third word, belonging. Chucking it back to you, John.
Taking it straight on. Belonging. You see, so much of particularly learning these days is about focusing in on accumulating some facts or working out some protocols or systems and reproducing them. Universities, I'm going to talk a little bit about university in a while, but universities are not really any longer communities. Many colleges aren't communities. They're sort of places where you go to acquire an educational product. And, that because they're businesses, they're markets. But community requires belonging. Doesn't mean we all have to like each other. It certainly doesn't mean we all have to agree with each other, but it's a place where you can belong. A lot of contemporary culture struggles with that notion of belonging because people are excluded if they don't fit in. They're excluded if they don't fit in, you know, in terms of their area of specialism, or, young people don't want to talk with older people, vice versa. But also if people say the wrong thing or have the wrong political opinion, they are not only excluded, but are often enough excluded quite brutally. So the School of Humankind is intended as a place where you unconditionally can belong. Of course, that belonging is something that you have a right to, but also that confers responsibilities. We, all of us, create a community where difference is welcomed, where conversations, which are sometimes, between people who don't agree with each other, are welcomed. It's a place of, yes, turn up, know that you belong, and from the safety of feeling that you don't have to justify yourself, or you don't need to be afraid of being chucked out, take the risk of learning something new. It's a place of safety, but not the easy safety of nobody's ever going to disagree with you, the safety of belonging to a village, or, belonging to something where you can't be thrown out because it's yours. School for Humankind is yours if you choose to make it yours. Because Angela mentioned, universities and coffee shops, and those are two of the metaphors that right early on we were playing with when we were talking about what could we set up that would really kind of offer something new and really fit in with the visions that we were all bringing to the table. And two images that were really strong for us were, the first was what I would call the old style university, the university before they've turned into educational product delivery mechanisms. Okay, so I'm an old fella, or at least getting on that way. When I went to university in 1983, it was a campus university. I went to study English literature. There were other courses I could do. I did some drama. I went to lectures in the chemistry department. When there was nothing to do, we'd go down to campus, hang around and say, what's going on? Oh, there's a theatre show. Oh, there's a concert. Oh, there's a debate going on, that sort of stuff. When there was nothing really to do, you'd go hang out in the student bar, and people were students hanging out in the bar. But actually what we did in the student bar was, yeah, we drank, but we also had endless long conversations about life, art, politics, and everything else. It was a place where the staff, the lecturers, the academics, they were brilliant at teaching. I had some brilliant academics. But it wasn't quite that they had a product that they delivered. It's that they were researchers and learners, and we learned alongside them. Sometimes that was not great because they clearly didn't give a damn about the students. But often it was brilliant. The most influential lecturer I had, he was an old fella. He was not the same age I am now. Uh, he was fascinated by the stuff that he was discovering. He was a specialist in 17th century poetry and contemporary Marxism. What a combination. Um, and he was fascinated by it. So we would have 2-hour seminars, and then we'd all, with him, retire to the bar, and we'd talk for 5, 6, 7 hours until it closed. That idea of a place of discovery was really important to us as we talked about it, a community of discovery. And the other image, which Angela's also referred to, was the image of like a really great neighborhood coffee shop where, where they sell good coffee, because you've got to have good coffee. But everybody goes there. Anyone and everybody goes there. And sometimes people go there because you're having a meeting and an expert is going to communicate some stuff. Okay, let's go to the coffee shop. We're going to have a conversation. I'm going to tell you about something that you need to know about. Other people might listen into that expert's conversation. Sometimes the expert might be quiet and listen to somebody else talking about their work. Sometimes, yeah, you get the picture. It's a complex place of safety and belonging, where people share expertise and share their insights and knowledge, whatever stage of their life they're at. And there's a historical precursor to this, which is always interesting to me, that, you know, back in the 17th century in Britain at least, and also in other countries, the coffee shop or the tea shop was the place where the intellectual life and the practical developments of a society took place. People would go down there and have big conversations with each other while other people listened and joined in. And it was a sort of a public forum. And we're not quite a public forum, but there's an element of that. All welcome as we work out specific things. We're going to run a workshop on this or a workshop on that, but also the big questions. What is it to belong? How do we learn? How do we communicate? How do we have better conversations? Like in ancient Athens, the agora, which was a meeting place where everything was worked out, or in traditional villages where there's always a center where things are discussed and worked out. So these images, the coffee shop and the old style campus university, they were the pulse that we kept returning to as we began to imagine School of Humankind into existence. Let's talk a little bit about who we actually are. I can pass it to you for that, Angela.
All right, so who we actually are the faculty that we've got on hand at the moment. You can see everyone's bright and shiny faces on our faculty page on the website. And, you know, when we were choosing who we wanted to join us, it was also a conversation. It was, where do you come from? What do you believe in? What do you do? And we really wanted to choose people with diversity of thought, diversity of location, and all of the diversities that you can see, but there's so many that you can't see that you will really learn about in their events, in our discussions. So the faculty is a constantly evolving thing. We are still building that, but we've got a really great solid core crew that we're going ahead with and going to have fun with and exchange ideas. So just as John mentioned, we have faculty who are going to be leading conversations, but by no means does that mean they're only going to be telling. We are going to be listening. It's a conversation. So they're discussion leaders in a sense, and we look forward to having the community participation. I think, do you have anything to add to that, John?
No, I'll go on to talk about the two strands, the community and the courses. But an example of that, which you'll introduce me talking about the community, what you say is so important, I think. In a few, I can't remember when it is, sometime over the summer, I'm having a conversation with Gabby Cadena, who's younger. She's in her 30s, I think. Mexican, lives in America, Mexican. Uh, Organizational psychology, organizational structures is her stuff. And we've been having conversations on and off for a year or two about, she's interested in my work, I'm very interested in her work. And we're going to do a community event. We had the conversation the other day to decide whether or not we'd go ahead with it. And both of us felt very strongly, and this is what we're trying to do. We weren't going to say, well, okay, what should we teach? That's not what that community event's about. That community event is about Gabby finding out more about what I do, me finding out more about what Gabby does, seeing where they meet. We will discover things together with an audience. It's not about saying, here's a product that we deliver to you. It's here's a journey of discovery that we're going to go on. And we don't know what we're going to talk about. We've got a topic, we've got a starting point, but it's going to be fueled by curiosity and excitement. And of course, once we've laid down a terrain, then whatever the audience bring in terms of perspectives and insight contributes to that. So that's, there's many community events coming up, but that sort of encapsulates the sort of thing that the community is. The community is one of two strands in School of Humankind. Between now and the end of December, there'll be over 100 free community events. That's a lot of stuff. 100 free community events. Some of them straight down the line workshops. So, you want to learn how to do online marketing. Judy is going to run a 45-minute to 1 hour workshop on online marketing. She's great at it. It'll be a great delivery of stuff. Sometime fairly soon, I'm going to deliver a workshop, which is, if you're stressed, here are 3 immediate strategies you can use based in your body to step away from stress. Absolutely practical workshop. That's one strand of stuff we do. Another strand is that later this week, Joanne is going to run a visualization. Now, I don't know what it's going to be visualization about, but you see, I don't have to, because we're not a brand. We're an environment of discovery. It's Joanne's responsibility to bring in the focus for the visualization. But what it is a practical session. Later in August, another one of our faculty, Sue Boland from Ireland, is doing a meditation session, online meditation. Practical, straight down the line, practical sessions. Some point down over the summer, Angela is going to do a Meet the Faculty, where she's going to interview Vreni, an artist from Switzerland who's on faculty. Primarily, it'll be about Vreni's work, but we'll also discover a bit about Angela on the way. Also in the summer, for example, I'm going to do a Meet the Faculty where I interview Nikkei, who's many things, a performer, a casting director, a thinker, an ex-academic, intimacy coordinator, and many other things. It's going to be mainly about her, but I'm interviewing her, so of course I bring myself to it. There's going to be conversations, talks, panel discussions, an entire environment of discovery and learning, all free, at least 2 events a week, sometimes more. That's a community strand. And then there's the courses strand. The courses, we're only just really beginning to set that up. At the moment, there's one time-based course. Gabby, who I mentioned before, is running a course on a particular date. I can't remember what it is now. So there are some time-based courses. I'll be doing one later in the summer and so on. And then there is access to the existing programs that the faculty bring in, usually at a discount. Not always, but usually at a discount. So that if you part of the School of Humankind, you get priority or discounted or both access to work that the faculty are bringing in. And these are faculty who are doing really excellent work. So you get a fast track channel into their work. And of course, as we begin to really build up momentum, School of Humankind will begin to run its own courses. Our faculty running them, of course, but we'll begin to integrate courses right into the heart of it. So we have 2 strands to what we do. A community where we want people to meet, connect, belong, reach beyond their boundaries, discover new things, hopefully make friends and relationships and so on. And then courses where everything from targeted, direct, expert learning through to really extraordinary journeys into discovery We're going to do the whole lot from right around the world, from all sorts of disciplines. The potential is enormous. Our job is to try to manageably deliver on that potential over the next, well, initially 9 months, and then with a bit of luck, 20 years. Don't look so worried, Angela. Do you want to talk? Actually, I've talked a little bit, but do you want to talk a bit more detail about what's coming up in the community in the next few weeks?
Okay, yeah, you mentioned quite a few of them, but I'll just do it in a logical way.
Oh,
So here
please
we
do.
have
Somebody has to be logical here.
here's Mr. Artist meeting Mrs. Engineer who has to have things in a logical, concise way. So today's event was our big kickoff. Thursday, as John mentioned, Joanne is doing a visualization called The Power of Seeing Humankind, and kind as in kind. And next Tuesday, John's 3 instant stress busters uh, he'll do that workshop. And then the Thursday is the Meet the Faculty. So that's Thursday, July 18th. And that's where I will be chatting with Rini Rangli, a Swiss intuitive artist. And she's so interesting that I think make sure you sign up for that. And then the next, I think I'll just do 5. July 23rd, Gitika. She's in India and she communicates finance. So she helps women, especially, understand finance through film. So she'll be doing a little talk on how film stories and finance are connected. So that sounds incredibly interesting. So if you look in our website under community events, you put in your email, it will auto-populate all of the workshops that happen to be there. But when you press, I can't remember what I called the key, submit, you will get joining instructions for that workshop in particular. So you mentioned the paid course that Gabby will be doing. That will be August 5th. And she will be talking about what is organizational culture, steps to begin creating a safe work environment. So that's the next couple of weeks coming up. I'm super excited about it. The faculty have such a breadth of information they want to share with you. So let's see how it goes.
Why don't you just, I realize that we haven't actually, we don't sort of need to, but in some ways we do. Give a 1 minute introduction to yourself, Angela, because, you know, we might as well say who we are. Who are you, Angela?
Who am
Miss
I?
most logical engineer putting things in order.
Yes, no kidding. Well, I am an engineer who helps engineers and other science-based professionals see the logic behind the softer parts of their lives so they can live more resilient and more purpose-filled lives. And it's mostly, people who are in professional type jobs who are doing the most amazing projects, like everything from, roads to designing the next rocket ship going up. We're doing amazing things, but we're also living these lives of possibly Groundhog Day. Like I get up, I go to the office, I do my stuff, I come back, and basically, is this all there is until I retire? So it's helping those kind of people with a logic-based background understand how to really incorporate the softer sides of life so they can savor it. That's my little pitch. Oh, and I'm based in Canada, in the middle of nowhere. So it's good that we have Zoom now.
Well, talking of being based in the middle of nowhere, I'm
Yeah,
based in Ireland in the middle of nowhere.
we got to have a competition of who's really in the middle of nowhere.
Well, I look out my window, I might win this one.
I think you might.
And so, yeah, so I'm John, and I really work with artists, people who are creatively focused, to help people unblock, align with their artistic and creative needs, help, find processes, particularly for physical performers, rehearsal processes that they can sustain. The heart of my work is helping people liberate themselves from self-doubt, self-sabotage, all of those things that artists are perhaps particularly prone to. And I mainly do it by creating a space where the importance of art is no longer negotiable. It's unconditionally, what we do as artists is enormously important. And that in itself liberates people. And then I guide people towards deeper insight into how to align with their creativity. Starting with artists, but inevitably everybody is an artist in his or her own way, so the work stretches out more and more to other people. That's pretty much as far as we wanted to go, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I just wanted to say both of us we're building our business online. So we have online courses that we will be offering through the course section, but also, yeah, the paid kind of, we're here to coach you as well. So yes, that's basically all we had to say.
Thank you for coming along and watching this. And if you've any questions, you can drop us a message, hello@schoolofhumankind.com, or you can go to that website, www.schoolofhumankind.com, and join our mailing list, or we have a page on LinkedIn that you can connect with. In other words,
We're everywhere. Not yet, but we're getting there.
Thanks for watching this.
Yes, thank you, everyone.